What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JTW Sports Show. We're back. We just had week 13 of the NFL season. Like we said before, it's slowly coming to an end. The playoff picture is kind of closing up a little bit, and it's getting kind of exciting. I say that, but then I completely disagree with what I just said. Like, it's closing down, but like all these teams, like they've so many chances. But
the AFC is wide open.
Yeah,
AFC
it really
wide
is.
open.
There's teams way under 500 that actually have a legitimate chance. But before we get into that talk, TJ, Will, how you guys feeling?
I'm great. I'm ready to talk about the Detroit Lions getting their first win of the season.
Yeah, dude, that's huge. T,
I'm ready to talk about Denver needing a new quarterback and Teddy Two Gloves needs to go back to Carolina.
No.
Dude, yeah. So I mean, this was a pretty interesting weekend for all of our teams. You know, the Panthers finally didn't lose.
So positive.
Congrats. They didn't play. Great bye week. You guys
have the same record as the Falcons, just so you know.
Yeah. So the Falcons had to lose to get the same record as the Panthers. That's crazy. No, hey, but speaking of Falcons, they didn't look bad. They played against the Buccaneers, who we all have collectively agreed is a top 3 team in the NFL right now. They've been solid all year. Tom Brady, he's the GOAT. He's going to continue to be the GOAT. The Bucs looked pretty good, but the Falcons, they played their game with them. I think they're missing quite a few pieces. Obviously, Calvin Ridley out. That's a big time. It hurts a lot, but they finally seem like they're finding some kind of run game between Cordero Patterson and Mike Davis.
Listen, I'm just waiting until Cordero Patterson finally gets thrown in at safety and gets the interception that he wants.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. They actually put him on the depth chart as
your reserve safety.
I don't know if that says more about him or more about how y'all don't have any depth.
No, I think that says more about him because he asked to be put on it. Like, I mean,
it's also a staple of the respect that he's gained from the team and from the coaches and from everybody, really.
I don't think he would ever go in the game as a safety unless it's like a Hail Mary situation and they throw him back there. You know?
Last game of the season, Cordell Patterson's going in at safety in the fourth quarter, get himself an interception.
Imagine last game of the season, he starts at safety and running back. I don't think that's ever happened in the NFL. Maybe like back in the 30s.
Yeah. If we're being honest, I watched the whole Buccaneers Falcons game yesterday. Defensively, y'all were actually keeping Tom Brady kind of in check. But the biggest
Are you sure?
No, you guys just had the last second pick 6 before the half, and I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, he had almost 4.
He had 368 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, the pick at the end of the half, that was awesome. Marlon Davidson, he's slowly starting to become into the role that we wanted him, drafting him out of Auburn. He's okay. You know, he's not anything exceptional, but like that proved that he has some IQ. So that's kind of cool. But dude, the Falcons defense, like we have such bad secondary issues. But Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I'm looking at
like
Tom Brady
40 yards.
Tom Brady threw the ball 51 times. And he at his age, it's like he doesn't go into a game expecting to throw the ball 50 times.
Nah. Honestly, though, the biggest takeaway that I saw from y'all as a collective group, you have no offensive line. Matt Ryan didn't even have a half a second to try and get that ball out. I mean, it was awful to watch. There was a couple bad snaps that resulted in him having to jump on the ball. I mean, overall,
there was 4 or 5.
Yeah, overall, it's just your offensive line needs work,
and it doesn't help that the Bucs have one of the best D lines in the league.
That is also very true.
It's definitely tough. Like easily bottom 3 offensive line in the league. It's so hard to watch, and it's like amazing how like Matt Ryan's been getting a bunch of slander recently, but it's so obvious why. I mean, he's still making all these plays happen somehow against like some decent teams, and he's got no time or receivers to throw the ball to.
I agree.
And he's got Russell Gage as his number 1 receiver. Nothing against Russell Gage. I think he's okay.
No, he's a number 3 receiver on a good team.
And he's our number 1 right now, and it's tough, but we have a lot of holes.
That's enough about the Falcons.
That's way too much.
They suck. The Tampa Bay is really good. Obviously, they keep winning. They're 9-3 now. Yeah. The team I want to talk about, I mentioned it in my intro, the Detroit Lions. They finally got their first win of the season. They messed up my parlay. So, that's that.
It messed up my fantasy because Jalen Hurts decided not play yesterday, so I had to start Kirk Cousins.
You guys heard about the big trade that went down yesterday, right? How the CFL actually traded for the Minnesota Vikings. Dude, they look terrible.
Hold on. Here's the real question.
The thing is, Kirk Cousins has been playing really good this year.
With Adam Thielen.
He was 30 for 40, 340 and 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Obviously, Dalvin Cook's out. Alexander Madison came in, had 90 yards and a touchdown.
Adam Thielen's out.
Really what happened, Justin Jefferson had 180 yards, which, he does that even when Adam Thielen's there. But I think towards the end of the game, if you have having a receiver like Adam Thielen, I've said this, Adam Thielen is one of the top 3 most reliable receivers in the league. As far as if I need a first down, if I need a touchdown in the red zone, if I need a play made, Adam Thielen is one of those dudes that you wouldn't think of, but he always makes that play.
Yeah.
He's once again tied for the league lead in touchdowns. He did that last year as well, and I'm pretty sure 2 years ago he did that. So, he's one of those guys that he's very important to have. But, on the Detroit side, they got it done. It still wasn't a nice, it wasn't a good looking win, but they got it done.
It was the last thing. But it brings back into the point I said last week. There were leading into last week, there were 25 games that were determined by the last play of the game. We had a couple yesterday. That game specifically, it was the last play of the game that determined who was going to win.
Yeah, we were sitting there watching it, and we were like, dude, they mismanaged the clock so bad. That's
been their problem. But that's been the Lions' problem all season from winning games. They could have beaten Chicago over Thanksgiving, but they mismanaged their clock time.
So I think I don't know. Like I said, it still wasn't that pretty of a win, but it's their first win of the season. I don't know how many more games they're gonna win this season.
That might be it.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule. They play the Broncos next week, the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Seahawks.
Now the Lions are gonna win. They're gonna beat the Broncos. We suck.
Broncos, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, and Packers. Yeah, they might not win another game, but who else might not win another game is the Denver Broncos because Teddy Bridgewater sucks. Tried to tell y'all that. From Carolina. He wears 2 gloves as a quarterback. I'm sorry, you cannot be good.
Positives as a team.
Kenny Pickett does.
Positive.
Teddy Bridgewater's in college too.
As a team of looking at it, we can run the ball. We have a very good run game. Defense.
That's about it.
No, defense can hold teams.
No, y'all's defense looked good last night.
Our defense looked very good last night. We were attacking the ball. We held Travis Kelce to 3 receptions the whole game.
Tyreek Hill didn't have that good of a game either.
Tyreek Hill didn't have that good of a game. Defense played very well. When your quarterback decides to just give them the ball, it doesn't help.
A couple like the pick 6, it got tipped at the line. And
I agree. The pick 6 did get tipped at the line.
You can't really fault him for that. And then
the other interception was 100% his fault. In special teams, they blocked our own player into our returner to fumble the ball.
Yeah.
But then guess what? Defense stepped up and held them to 3 points when they got the ball inside the 10. So positives. We have a good run game, and the offensive line we're run offense first.
It definitely looked between the last 2 games we talked about, the Lions and the Broncos, it's these young players that are coming in clutch for these teams.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, he came clutch for the Lions, and then Javonte Williams has shown.
Javonte Williams and Mike Boone. Mike Boone, someone that's
where Javonte
from team to team.
Hey, what from the what?
Mike Boone, someone that's bounced from team to team.
Another player that has had another great day, but didn't really get any hype is Jonathan Taylor, for the Colts, and he's the MVP front runner in my opinion. I think he's the MVP.
I agree.
In a lot of people's opinion. He put up a bunch of yards, like 142 rush yards or something like that, and no one's talking about it. Like, it's so natural for him. I really like Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
The season he's having is kind of like Derrick Henry. When Derrick Henry has 180 yards, everybody's like, "Oh wow, he didn't have that good of a game this week." Like, that's how
exactly.
That's how
they
good.
Saw that he had a fumble, and they're like,
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, they might bench him."
I think I saw it yesterday though. Jonathan Taylor has had, I forget how many consecutive games.
He's had a rushing touchdown in 10 straight games. It's the longest streak since LaDainian Thomas did it in 18 straight games.
Wow.
18 straight games going to from the 04 season to the 05 season.
Wow. I mean, the Colts are. I said it. The Colts can win games if they give the ball to Jonathan Taylor. You're not going to win with Carson Wentz throwing the ball. You got to be the old.
I think everybody knows that, TJ.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying in general though, they need to be the. We're going to run the ball. And
no, I think they started off the
game.
season. They started off the season trying to, have Carson Wentz more involved and everything, and then they realized that, hey, we have a top 5 running back in the league. Let's use him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think they realized that Carson Wentz wasn't as good as they thought he was.
Remember how there's one running back, I don't know if you guys can name his name, couple years back, he was a top 5 running back in the league, and this team got on the 2-yard line, and instead of giving him the ball, they threw a pass in the Super Bowl, got intercepted. Well, that was the Seattle Seahawks, man. And something very similar happened this weekend too, where they were on the 2-yard line, 3-yard line maybe, and they passed it to Gerald Everett, and he fumbles, and they almost lost the game from it.
Yeah.
I have no.
I'll let you talk about it. You were hoping for Gerald Everett to do something crazy. He did something crazy, but not what you wanted.
Darren Waller was out this week, so I had to pick up Gerald Everett for my fantasy team. He's had 2 out of the last 3 games. He's had 14.5 points. So I was like, all right, he's been playing decent here. Let me pick him up. So I pick him up, and yesterday was the day that he decided to have 2 fumbles in the same game.
2 fumbles from a tight end, bro.
From a tight end.
When was the last time that's happened? That's crazy.
I mean,
that's crazy. Hey, them Seahawks, they need to learn to start running the ball on 2-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, their running back was Rashad Penny.
Who's a tank?
Yes, and their O-line was bad though, because if you remember, they put Adrian Peterson in, and the first 2 plays they got stopped.
Yeah,
and so
Adrian Peterson, that's another big news that happened. He is now tied for 10th with Jim Brown, right?
Jim Brown
for all-time rushing touchdowns. So that's
I think he's one, and then he gets one more, and he moves up to tied for 8th, I think.
Well, speaking of record holders, or in that sense, yesterday Cooper Kupp has become the first player in NFL history with, I think it's 1,000 yards and 10 receiving touchdowns through 12 games.
Wow.
It's something like he's the first player in NFL history to ever do it.
He's been on a tear. Everybody knows that. He's made that team what it is.
He's Stafford's number 1. Everybody knows
Beckham's starting to become reliable. He had that
true
touchdown catch on the 1-yard line. That's pretty cool.
Stafford finally figured it out.
Van Jefferson's stepping up, and I think Van Jefferson's finally realizing that now that Robert Woods is out, he's got to step up, and Ben Jefferson's been playing a lot better lately. The last game I want to talk about on here,
please be the game I'm thinking of,
is the Ravens and the Steelers.
Not the game I was thinking of.
What game were you thinking of?
I'm thinking about how Taylor Heineke's on a tear right now with a 4-game win streak with the Washington football team.
He is, but they've had a week.
They beat the Raiders. They've
had a weak schedule other than the Tampa Bay win. They've played the Panthers, the Seahawks, and the Raiders. I wouldn't say that's any world.
Raiders, who's been they're winning. At the end of the day, a win's a win.
Oh no, yeah, a win's a win. But
and if it could put them in the playoffs, it can put them in the playoffs.
Yeah, because their division is looking at their division right now.
It's Philadelphia.
Dallas is winning their division, leading their division at 8-4. But Dallas is known to
mess it up,
mess stuff up. So
no, I think Dallas is the lock for the playoffs in that division.
Really,
even with Washington playing good, I still like Dallas.
I just know Dallas is going to do something.
Hey,
they do have to play Washington twice in the last.
Speak on your Ravens and Steelers though.
Yeah, the Ravens and Steelers, man. Big Ben, like we all talked about it. He came out before the game, said that he's expecting this to be his last season with the Steelers, not his last season.
Not necessarily.
We've always said it this year. Like,
retire.
He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but he's just so old that he needs to. He is one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
He is. He's got the resume and everything.
In recent years, is said otherwise.
Yes, I know that, but
we're talking all the time. We're talking about his career, though.
Yeah,
that is true. I'd
say the same thing about like a Phillip Rivers.
That's true.
But so I think that it's time for him to go. But they beat the Ravens. But the Ravens, you have the best kicker of all time in Justin Tucker, and you don't kick the extra point to go to overtime.
I mean, in their defense, it was a good play call. It was a greatly executed play besides the tip of the fingers. Mark Andrews, you need to accelerate out of that. You can't turn around and slow down. Lamar, you need to give him a better touch pass when he's wide open like that. I like the play call. I like them going out for the win. But to your point, dude, it's the greatest kicker of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand, you're on the road. You want to go for the win. But at the same time.
You have the momentum. They had the momentum. So, I mean, it makes sense because think about it, we've sat here and argued. We've all been in the similar situation where we either kick it to take it OT or let's go for the win. You know what I'm saying?
I always love going for the win, but dude, you gotta be reliable. It's Justin Tucker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree.
And you're you're the better team than the Steelers. Yeah. So I think
But the way they've been playing lately, are they? Let's be honest.
They are.
The Ravens haven't been playing very good.
I saw somebody. I think it was Tony Dungy said that the Steelers remind him of the Ravens remind him of the Steelers from last year, where they were winning all those games, but they weren't good. Like they didn't look good winning.
It was other teams' mistakes.
Yeah.
For the reason that they were winning.
Yeah.
But the one takeaway that I took from that game was Deontay Johnson is so underrated. I think he's maybe the most underrated receiver in all of the NFL. He's been fantastic all year and hasn't gotten any recognition. He balled out, had a 2-touchdown night. He played good, and that's one good thing if you're a Steelers fan. He's got a bright future. But yeah, hey, there's so much that goes on each weekend. I'm glad the Detroit Lions got a win. It would have been cool to see them not win a game, but they have been the most consistent team all year, but that kind of ruined their streak. But hey, this has been fun. We'll be back with you guys in a couple days for our power rankings, and I think I might put Detroit in the top 5. We'll see. But hey, we'll see you guys next one.
We'll see you guys.
See ya.